Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Monday, December 16th at 11:45 a.m. So a question that folks ask a lot, is the party over? And, before the stream, I had this thought, and that's just something that everyone's always thinking, but I want to answer it in a different way. What's the name of the movie? Um, oh my God, what's the name of the movie with Will Smith and the AI? Um, and the doc says, that's the right question. That, my friend's the right. There you go. iRobot. So you remember when the doc says that detective is the right question? Now, clearly you didn't hear that audio, but the whole point is you understand the visual reference, and that's something that I hit on a lot. Folks are asking the wrong questions, not about whether it's over or not. It's never over, but it can be over any moment of any day. The whole system could fail. That's a very strong point that I continuously and repeatedly make. But looking at the data, which we will right now, it's not. We're just waiting for a continuation of a breakdown of um, Bitcoin's pricing relative to all coins, quote unquote. That's broadly expressed by Bitcoin dominance, BTC.D. Look where we are. This is a position of weakness. It's not a position of strength. You're not coming at a moving average from the top side going down. You're coming at a moving average from the bottom side going up, looking for a previous support to flip resistance. Relatively short time frame. We're on the daily chart. Well, look, it would take a tremendous amount of upward momentum to push us to a higher high from where we are, which would be, in all regards, just it doesn't make any sense for that to occur. Maybe you have a blow off, but I don't think it'll be a higher high. You'd have a lower high. In any regard, it would fall back into trend and over enough time produce the lower low. And why? Because we've already seen altcoin outperformance, a significant amount of capital flowing into this space. Capital flows are like momentum. Momentum draws in additional capital, and you have a siphoning effect, and things continue until capitulation. Trends continue until capitulation. So this trend, we already have the directionality reversal, and it's not just Bitcoin dominance breaking to the downside through the 200 on the daily for the first time in all of 2024, but it's also the relative outperformance of individual altcoins, relatively speaking, of course. So the party's not over, so it's not the right question to ask. Looking at the move indicator, the party hasn't even started yet. So for the system to continue, the amount of debt that has been issued since 2020, especially, and this is basically your first cycle post 2020, because I got to refinance all that shit, going to have to significantly expand global currency supply. And we haven't had conditions like that in the last couple of years since the bottom in Q4 2020. Q4 2020, global currency expansion conditions have significantly tightened all the way until obviously the blow up top in March of 2023. Coincidentally, March of 2023 was when the United States banking system failed, which nobody talks about because, once again, folks are not asking the right questions. The banking system did fail. They swept it under a rug over a weekend. And since March of 2023, they've been trying to get financial conditions into the appropriate and required configuration for the currency expansion cycle to occur, which is below 80, because that is obviously a moving average boundary, but moving average boundaries often are a manifestation of psychological boundaries. Cause and effect, they probably cause the psychological boundary because everyone knows where the moving average is. So you see a break of the moving average to the downside, and everyone's like, it's go time. It's go time. So you see this break of the monthly 100 to the downside into the 70s on the move indicator. It's going to get weird. because we haven't had favorable currency expansion conditions in years. It's as simple as that. What happens when the party doors open and everyone's been expecting the party and it's been years in the making and then, shit kicks off. It's going to pop off. DXY back up to 107. Just crazy, crazy reality for the dollar relative to foreign currencies. And foreign currencies are under significant pressure, which is exactly why the dollar has such upward strength into 107 in market conditions like this. There's a nice post this morning. Um, yeah, Glenn was responding to Mike, and Mike was responding to Peter. And this is the trend. So I responded to Glenn saying deglobalization is the path forward. Even if neglecting prevailing geopolitics, the cyclical history of the DXY screams to globalization and is a monetary requirement to maintain the rules based order. Secular dollar weakening is the overtone of all hinted incoming policy thus far. This is, as always, the way I state things. But basically, whether they wanted to or not, the dollar has to come down because it's a geopolitical requirement. Dollar up collapses foreign nations, destroys their currencies, makes them exporters. And that's in the direction of globalization. And that's not where we want to head as a nation for our policy. Our policy is the repatriation of supply chain, the bringing back of manufacturing. And to do that, you need a weak currency. So the US is going to have to accommodate the shit situation that every fucking foreign nation is in with regard to their currency. All right, so everyone else has a shit currency. We're going to have to devalue the shit out of the dollar in order to meet repatriation intentions or policy. That's a big deal. So that is just confluence suggesting at some point this dollar is going to come down. That's going to have to come down in a meaningful way, likely in a cyclical way because it goes down, it'll go up. But I suspect the secular directionality change, which is something we've been talking about for some years at this point. So, in either case, whether it's down now or in a little bit of time, move basically says, okay, it's going to roll over. We're going to have a cyclical decline in the dollar. And I would speculate that that is a cyclical decline against a secular trend shift. Very, very interesting. Curve back down to 111. We're on the monthly. Let's go to the weekly. I need to zoom in. There you go. So there's your weekly interaction with the weekly 200 EMA, 200 SMA. Obviously, higher lows on a weekly time frame. I mean, you get above these two moving averages and you get above like 157. You're talking about directionality reversal. And that's a meaningful directionality reversal because above here, you're talking about basically 230. Yeah, I'll do some new levels. Let's get some. I haven't done levels on this chart in quite some time. We could draw. Let's draw a rectangle. Let's go from here to here. That's a nice level. And above here, I mean, maybe, I mean, clearly this whole candle here in January of 22, that whole thing. I mean, if you want to just say fuck it, you go to a level like this, and it's this whole region, which is a big region, so maybe it's not the most meaningful, but 239 to 360, 361, not 361, 370. Oh my God, I'm clicking everything. My wife always says that. I'm click happy. It's not enough. There's not enough congestion. So there's your region. I'll draw that, and you could draw some levels because once it gets above stuff like this, and there's literally nothing. Okay, not bad. Put that at the top of the wick. I like these levels. Let's zoom out. All right, so you get above. Oh, zoomed out too far. All right, this isn't working. There we go. So you get above that 158, and that's pretty much smooth sailing to 250 dollar. And this whole region spans to 311, and then you got a 370, and then that's it. Then it's discovery all the way to previous all-time high. And that's what I think plays out over the next couple of weeks, maybe quarter, 3 months. We finally breach this 158, and then we find resistance into the 238 region. And then you just got congestion up here because there's a whole lot of price action that we have to consider from a historical basis. CRV 101. Hope that helps a little bit. Um, Anything else from a macro standpoint? Oil trending at 70. Gold horizontal 2600 to 2700 and change. It's previous high. Is there a bid in flat? Okay, 10 years about flat today. That's what we want to see. You want to see interest rates flat, especially around in and around the 10-year. The flatter you see it, like day over day, 10th of a percent, uh, the lower move will go. And if you see move at 70, 80, lower than 80, 60, 70, 80, even if the DXY is relatively elevated, that's your countdown timer, as many folks who call the uninversion of the yield curve, the countdown timer starts. It's kind of like, well, what countdown timer? What's the right question? What does the countdown timer signify? And I say the countdown timer really signifies, uh, capital expansion, global capital expansion, which is the precursor to some shit blowing up. So they call it the recession. So when your yield curve uninverts, they call it a countdown timer to recession. And I would say it's more so um, bond volatility collapsing is a countdown timer to expansion. And once the expansion has to blow off, and then you get even just a little bit tightening of conditions, and everything just completely cascades. The bubble expands, and then the bubble contracts. It's all kind of same story, different sides of the same story. I prefer to look at it from a capital expansion standpoint because that makes the most sense to me. Anywho, I have a feeling you guys have a couple of things on your mind. I know Ripple just launched their RLUSD. Okay, a lot of stable coins out there. PayPal's dollar. I mean, USDC is MiCA certified, so that's fully good to go in Europe. So Circle clearly has what, almost a decade of trust and lendiness. All right. So PayPal is a long road ahead to build that trust, and Ripple is literally just launching. They have even a longer road ahead to build that trust. They're just starting out now. Check back in 5 years, and we'll see how that trust grows over time. What Athena came out with their BlackRock backed stablecoin, literally liquidity launching today. Is that what it was? Is that what I read? No, I don't want that. I want this. Yeah, USDTB. So BlackRock's dollar product. Everyone, everyone gets a dollar product. Here's Oprah. They're Oprahing the dollar products. Okay, so don't get too excited about any particular dollar product. Albeit I have my fancy for dollar products that have a cost of capital, because that's the only way you maintain the relative value of a currency. Meanwhile, you got everyone saying, "Ooh, USDC and PayPal and Ripple and BlackRock. They're making great stable. What's a great stable coin? We've had conversations about this. What's a great currency? A great currency is one that has a high interest rate because there's a reason there's a high interest rate. People are willing to pay for it. So the market speaks. There's a high interest rate that people are willing to pay for. They're willing to pay a premium for a reason because it's a great currency. But the greatest currency is the one that has high interest rates. Interestingly enough, that's the way central banks operate. That's why they raise interest rates. And that's why when the US raises interest rates, it draws in capital from around the world into US markets. and strengthens our investment landscape. That's why you have a bull market in equities when they're raising interest rates. Strengthens the currency. Okay, so it's pretty simple. So I'm not too interested at all in stablecoins that don't have an interest rate associated with their existence. I think I question like those are payment stable coins. Like you're able, if you could acquire them, you could use them for settlement purposes. And that's cool. That's a meaningful part of the space, in which case Circle is probably the most trusted. I mean, arguably overwhelmingly the most trusted. And you probably need more. So it's just starting. You need integration with the payment providers like Spritz Finance, because I know that Spritz supports USDC. They don't support CRV USD. I've tried it; it doesn't work because you can't convert it to a dollar liability. Now, once all these stable coins come online, PayPal, Ripple, BlackRock, now they need, you know, seamless, permissionless, trusted means of converting them into their corresponding dollar liability form in a commercial bank account, because then you could make payments with it. Stablecoin doesn't do much unless you have liquidity with a settlement stablecoin, and a settlement stablecoin does shit unless you can convert it into bank deposits, because then you can actually make payments. Hope that helps. So don't get too caught up in Gen Pop hype. Mom and pop are like, oh my God, it's going to change everything. Yeah, no, no, no. The stories of exuberance is going to change everything are just noise. The signal is how the system works. Because if there's a massive capital expansion from settlement stablecoins, what's that going to do to non-settlement stablecoins that are basically dollar liabilities, credit? It's going to cause a surge in financial activity, and that those are the investment opportunities. Whereas settlement stablecoins, there's no investment opportunity because there's no cost of capital. If there's no cost of capital, what the fuck? There's no money. What do you have, a minting cost? So the company's making money? A company, a centralized entity? No, no. That's not an investment. An investment is when there's a cost of capital, and because there's a cost of capital, you get paid. That's a business. That's an investment, ladies and gentlemen. Raul's in the house. Arrow, good morning. Starry Frog, what's up? Bitcoin nerd. Oh my God. Oh my God. The shit that we've seen. People buy the most incredible shit thinking it's the most incredible thing. They don't understand how the system works. What are dollars? Isn't that one of the biggest questions we ask that we answer on this stream? Grand Rising. Yes, it was iRobot. That detective is the right question. I love that shit. Macro question. The market seems to have realized the importance of move and is now front running it. Yes, is the statement correct? And if it is, what's our leading indicator now? Um, it's not really front running it. I say it's. I would say move still leads, and if move still leads, we still haven't seen the first leg. The people are speculating on move falling from here, so we haven't seen the first leg of the bull market, because the first leg comes from some time when move is at 60, 70 or lower. But the directionality is clear. Directionality is oh so clear that this is going to roll over, and you get your cyclical blow off bottom and volatility, which means you're going to get a bid in US debt. That's exactly what happens when there's a recession. It's what happens when equities roll over, when you get paid more for your dollars than you do investing in the stock market. The dollars go up in value, which is basically the debt. That's the interest rate coming down because the bonds are getting bid. And you can see that clear as day in like a 2020. Here's your bid, go logarithmic, and there's your blow off bottom. Look at that blow off bottom. So yields collapsing on the 10-year, whereas everyone and anyone buying 10-year bonds before they even asked. They ate the bonds. Okay. So we're not there yet. Move hasn't rolled over. We don't have that strong bond demand and that rolling top of US equities, which is probably inevitable based on the prevailing directionality. The difference is rolling top of US equities means where's the capital going? Probably a large part of it will go to US debt, risk off, as it's historically called. But other good part of it's going to go internationally, emerging market investments. And it just so happens there's a great emerging market that's accessible to the United States, not in the United States, but you don't really need to send your money anywhere. That's the crypto markets. An emerging market of emerging markets, accessible to all markets, but of no market. That's coming sooner than later, that type of scenario. George Subcap, thoughts on upcoming airdrops by OpenSea Sonic? Sonic's gonna be hot. I wish I had more exposure. Looks like I'm gonna have to deal with Shadow Exchange on Sonic. I look forward to that. Obviously, I have historic solidly exposure, so I think I have effective Sonic exposure. It's not as much as I'd like. I've contemplated spending capital recently, like equal, standard $9. Um, they just had their conversion. But look at Solidly. Solidly never had, you didn't have to convert something from Phantom to Sonic. It's because you'll end up only having to transfer your NFT to Sonic from Phantom once they get that implementation up, because Solidly has that cross chain implementation. So, as much as it's done poorly historically, maybe the chain that it needed was Sonic to do well. In any case, between Shadow and Solidly, that's what I'm going to live with. I'm going to live with that as my exposure, and I think it'll do just fine. So that's my sentiment. No sentiment regarding OpenSea, but Sonic, we know one thing's for certain. When they do drops, oh, they are throwing around incentives like mad. Sonic should get into one heck of a frenzy. I look forward to pressing claim buttons. And Nile, holy frick, what the hell happened to Nile? Do you guys look at that damn weekly rev? Oh my God. Now that it's not gonna hold up, but holy shit, Nile blew TF up. $1.97. Oh dear. I don't know what's gonna play out with Linnea, but it sure doesn't have the capital supply, the capital flows like the other chains. But someone surely took interest, and that was obviously Consensus. And this is almost back at all-time highs. History says all-time highs get a full retrace. We'll see you at 60 cents from a buck 97, but maybe Consensus is pulling their cards and they get their payment processing, and they're really going to do what frankly everyone's doing with the E33 exchanges, and Coinbase bought Aerodrome, and Kraken and Sony will probably buy parts of Velodrome, and Consensus bought parts of Linnea, or rather Nile on Linnea, and the same thing will happen with any of the quote unquote meta dexes, which is ultimately the liquidity financiers. They get bought. Okay, I'll buy that speculation. In fact, that is one of my primary speculations and my exposures to these markets, that the liquidity financiers are one of the most sought after businesses to own in these crypto markets. Ooh, what fell? Um, Sonic Airdrop will be a VENFT. I just think Sonic is going to get weird. They're throwing around a couple hundred mil in incentives. Yeah, I mean, you all know damn well that's just going to get weird. It's just what Andre does when he launches shit. Confused why Linnea is trying to be a meme chain. I have no idea. That's what Solana's for. Why try and emulate that? I don't know. Everyone on Solana's like, where's the capital rotating to? Why is it going to Hyperliquid? Why is it going to Arbitrum? And I'm like, all right, because there's no loyalty whatsoever in meme coins. It's just a rotating oddball of capital. So there you go. Capital rotating from Solana to a degree to Arbitrum. Arbitrum's getting monetized significantly, and base still is base. So everyone's just running around thinking they have everything understood. The only correct understanding isn't in terms of right and wrong. It's it's just it's realities of capital markets. Capital flows from underperformance to outperformance. When shit stops going up, the money gets sold, and where the asset sold, and the money gets transferred somewhere where things are still going up or about to start going up. And that's just the nature of capital markets. So that's why the capital is rotating to a degree from Solana to Arbitrum for once. We had a lot of capital in Cosmos Hub, Celestia back in the beginning of the year. Then base got hot, then Solana got hot. That capital is going to rotate, and that frenzy of financial activity is going to rotate to every goddamn chain because that's the whole point. That's what all of this does. Captain, 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 Captain. Good morning, Captain. Yeah, thoughts on buying real estate versus renting, thinking about from a de-risking perspective. Well, real estate is the stupidest investment from a cash flow perspective. I mean, what are you getting? Like 7%? And then if you optimize the crap out of it, you take all your depreciations and whatnot, or your tax optimizations, you get what, 8 to 12%? Um, with all that overhead and responsibility and insurance and complexity. No, no, unless you're old school and that's your business and your industry, eh, I wouldn't waste my time, and I don't waste my time. I would like ice cream shops, yogurt shops, froyo, and pizza shops more than I would like real estate because real estate is ultimately one of the worst types of businesses because it's dealing with people. Guess what? People are a pain in the neck. And asking people to pay you monthly rent, people are a pain in the neck. It's got to be the worst possible business in the world. So yeah, no, I don't want to touch that at all. Albeit, second property, Airbnb it out or some shit. And if it doesn't get rented, whoopie do. You're not buying it to rent it. You're buying it because you wanted a second property, and just because you have a second property and you're renting it out, that's fine. If it doesn't get rented, whoopie do. That's important characteristic of how to have a sustainable type of situation. I think about that often. And the wife's like, "Oh, let's get something. All right, if you want to get something for us, we'll get it, and you make a couple bucks renting it out. That's a good deal. But if you're dependent on that rental income for the continuity of the property's ownership, oh goodness gracious, I wouldn't do that." Thoughts on buying more BTC ETH at this price point versus USD? When will you convert your BTC to USD and how much of it? I think it was better to buy Bitcoin at 40,000 prior to the ETF launch, and that was my last acquisition, and that's fine. At this point, I don't need any further. I don't need any more. I don't operate on a Bitcoin standard. I operate on a can I frickin' pay my bills standard, and if I can, that's great. That's all that matters to me, and that's nominally because these investments will produce cash flow that adjusts for inflation. Inflation, so we could handle nominally repricing uh, um, capital obligations. Um, as the inflation adjusted income comes in over the coming years, your nominal um, debt servicing just becomes cheaper. You owe $1,000 a month in a car, and your income goes from $5,000 a week to $10,000 a week. All of a sudden, that $1,000 a month, it seems pretty damn cheap. So that's my 2 cents regarding overall money composition. Um, Generally, the bull market for me is stack cash on the way up. This is exit liquidity season. We have our investments bought at a significantly cheaper price than everyone's buying all this shit. Look at people buying this shit at $2, and we bought it much less. And that's just one example. I mean, even Velodrome's back down to 20 cents, but we bought discounted V NFTs at 8 to 12 cents. And you got the whole list here. I mean, this is not really, man, Gamma Swap. Missed that one. Cow Swap. Wish I had a fat bag of that. Paying it back down to a buck 60. Cleo doing well at 62. Ramsey's, the entry was at 1.8 cents for myself. So that's got it at a discount. I'm not buying shit at a premium. So Bitcoin, stack cash on the way up, exit liquidity season. Warren Buffett, he's sitting on a big pile of cash. I intend to do the same. Markets collapse. Everyone's in a panic and a frenzy. I'll buy things. I'll buy things when everyone else is afraid to own anything ever again. Same for Bitcoin. And I'll buy appropriately sized positions considering um, my desired portfolio composition. Pretty simple equation. Exit liquidity season is the bull market for the cash flow investor. JS Tango, Lit, Dinero, White, 2K, stuff like that. Dinero, I like dollar lately. I like dollar. Well, that's obviously not Dinero. I like this product lately. I'm very curious how this turns out because they have fixed interest rate debt, which is basically similar to Liquid EV2 at this point. I'm very curious what happens with Liquid EV2 if every one of the 15 forks comes out with their own stablecoin. It's not bold. They're all going to use Liquidity, LQTY, governance, cash flow. They're all going to have their own respective dollar. Dollar, 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 dollar. Everyone's got to have their own stablecoin. Freaking mess. Too many damn stablecoins. Anywho, Tango, I look forward to. That just absolutely insane what Tango does from an open interest standpoint. 13 hours, $587 million of open interest. What does that mean? That means basically Tango's run around doing an incredible amount of business activity at an $8.5 million market cap. The investors, the early investors, a lot of them suck shit and have sold. They are what's called cheats. So whatever. I opted to maybe do the irrational and I locked it because 8.5 mil market cap, almost 600 mil open interest. Yeah, okay, whatever. Lock it, forget about it, done. I don't want to have to worry about short-term volatility at less than 10 mil market cap. When this pulls at 10x, yeah, that's cool. I don't care about this short-term volatility. So that's my 2 cents. Lit, what Bunny does, I don't know. We'll see. I retain my exposure. It's a 4-year lock. I bumped the lock because it does pay. Did I claim this? Well, we'll see in a second. No, I didn't claim it. I got 0.11 ETH. Okay, that's cool. Whatever. It's a couple of percent, but it adds up over time. And it affords Bunny the 4,000 exposure, whatever number they're up to. And that's a whole Uniswap V4 type thing. So cool, great. All this sounds good. Dinero never really caught my fancy, and Y2K never caught my fancy. Hope that helps. Sir Joe, present and accounted for. The con, what the E33 protocol you most bullish on, except for Velodrome? Um, well, Velodrome. Velodrome. It has. I can't answer anything other than that because of the super chain narrative. I mean, Velodrome has already expanded cross chain. That's huge. That means wherever optimism goes, Velodrome goes, and that's pretty crazy. It's too bad Velodrome is already at a premium, and I would never advise anyone to buy anything at a premium. But fortunately, there's a sucker out there that will always buy shit at a premium. Um, there's nothing to buy that's at a discount. We're done. Folks are always scrambling to figure out what to buy, and there's nothing to buy. You had years to buy this shit. We are done, ladies and gentlemen. It was a stretch, maybe, and a relatively high risk for me to acquire that Tango position. Could have, everything. Here, let's look. Like, what are we going to speculate on? Dollars, liquidity? That'd be a nice to have, but you're a couple 100% off bottom. $208 million market cap, which you could have bought at a $50 million market cap at 50 cents, and we're at 214, which is 400% premium. We don't want to look at Gamma Swap. That's just insane what Gamma Swap has done. Pendle's gone, gone and away. Aerodrome's gone, gone and away. Cow Swap's gone, gone. Grail, it's gone. They do cover some orbits, Arbitrum orbits, but Nile, gone. I don't know why this is here, but I like to keep track of shit that people get stupid over. Like what is stupid over, like Hex and XRP. They just they get so silly over it. So I keep it up. Maybe I should add a couple of tickers in that regard. Dana's gone. That's up multiples. Clio gone. Rare. It's all gone. Harrow. Oh my God, that's the V33 that nobody expected to do what it did, and it did it. That was a big deal. That is gone, gone, and away. Gone. It is to the moon and back. Looking at F bomb. APW. That's a nice to own. You think it's gone? 18 cents to a buck 20? That's gone. Gone, gone. Less than $1 million worth of liquidity. No wonder you have such repricing. That's another story. Cleaver is at $3, $5, gone. Even concentrate. It's all gone. There's no more discounts. Don't chase. Don't chase, ladies and gentlemen. Pair of a buck 12. Let's see what revenues will be like this week. Um, close. What market? Oh, this is just a fun one. This curve, I guess, is still decent. I mean, it's 5x on the money because it was at 20 cents. Now it's at a buck 12. That's almost 6x on the money. Certainly not a discount. 7%, 7%, 6.9%. That's cool. These numbers, by the way, these numbers are up huge. I mean, we were in point zero zero zero, three zeros during 23 and early 24. Point zero 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 five. I mean, these revenues are up like 300%. Point zero zero one five. Shit, we'll get back to a penny, and that's crazy. Hey, look at that, 2.002. I might have to readjust. Yeah, I'm gonna have to readjust capital, readjust voting. Holy shit. Convergys paying 2.4 tenths of a penny. That's a big number. That's big, 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 big numbers. Looking forward to it. I think we are all looking forward to finally an increase in weekly cash flow, which we've been waiting on for quite some time. But Ramsey's doing good as well. I mean, on basis, this is still, it's a couple, it's 100% APR, which is pretty wild. Was Clio a printer? I got too soon. Not bad. What's this? This is a week. Was this a week? I don't even remember. But this is getting subsidized, I think. I don't remember. I don't always claim weekly, so that kind of throws off my potential evaluation of weekly revenue. Um, but in hindsight, all right. These things have repriced. They have reinflated. So if I'm at break even or above, which I am on Nile, I'm like literally at 100% return. That's a relief. You know what I'm saying, Arrow? Isn't that a relief? That buy we did back way back when, and it took all this time to go down, and now it's at 100% or even more. I think it's tripled, at least doubled. Um, Sonic, the con. Um, the two projects I have exposure to are Shadow Exchange. We're going to get fat airdrop from Ramses, and I mean they're doing a bunch of stuff. It's not just Ramses; it's also Thana, probably whatever. I certainly am getting a drop from that, and I'll probably deploy some capital. Why not? Depending on what the conditions look like on launch, there should be a bit of a frenzy because of the amount of incentives that they're throwing around at the Sonic level. So, and obviously solidly, which is an old position that I retained, which also turned out to be a good deal. I bought an OTC bag of solidly for like 10 grand. At the time, it was worth like 170 grand. And that collapsed to like 5 grand. So I'm down 50% of the money. And right now it's sitting at like 40 chip, which is like 4x on the money. And that's cool. I'm hopeful that it works. And that's the whole bet. That's the bet we always do. If it works big. So, and you either have exposure or you don't. I have no idea if that's going to work. That's okay. You can't win all of them. Noise. Noise is right. John Steps, afternoon cap. Any thoughts on TAP moving to Ethereum mainnet and rebranding bulk contracts? We can know nothing, and I dare not think anything until the damn thing actually launches. That's that. Everything else is just noise. Let them launch, and we'll see how it does. I have infinite patience. Nothing I can do about it. They're working. Let them do what they do. Let them launch a product, then we can evaluate once we see how it behaves. Do you have a percent split in mind for next cycle for between Bitcoin and cash flow assets? No, not a percent, but generally speaking, rules of thumb: uh, buy things, buy things at a discount, buy cash flow, XYZ, have more collateral, so buy collateral, but you need it at a discount. Okay, so when Bitcoin collapses and everyone's pissing their pants, you buy a clip, you buy a half, you buy a quarter, you buy whatever your capital availability allows for. But you don't buy it when it's at a premium, and it's at a premium right now. The whole market's buying it at a premium, and seller will buy it at a premium, and that's okay. I have my rules. And my rules are to use this bull market as exit liquidity, stack a fat bag, and buy shit when it's dirt cheap. Very simple, broad, simple root set. I think I know your answer to this, but any thoughts on the Aero Flight School discount if we hold this massive discount for Wednesday? Let's check in on Aerodrome, which is the furthest thing in the world from a discount. You know, that discount is 25 cents. Not going to get it. Could have gotten it. We could have gotten it. NFTs when we were down at 50 cents, could have gotten a discount. I say 5 to 20 cents is a discount. That's whatever. Done. I can't get any. That's okay. Simple as that. The Clio did well. Discount for flight school is 95%. What? What does that mean? What does that mean? And I'm on VPN, of course, and that's fucking up my airtel. Go figure. What does 95% mean? You telling me if you buy 10 grand worth of arrow and you lock it in flight school, you get 100 grand worth of deposits? That doesn't make any sense. I think uh I think you need to bring that topic up in Discord. I think 95% would be wild. So if you could buy 100 grand worth of cash flow at 5 grand, no, 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 no. I mean, you literally buy the 5 grand, you lock it, you get 100 grand worth of DENFT, and you're getting paid 50 grand a year, 50% APR, 40, 50% APR, whatever, off a 5 grand purchase. No, no, no. Anyhow, Mandel has a DeFi incentive program where you can win MNT for doing tests. Oh, all right. All right, Mantle. It's on the list of the I hopes for further inflation. Ah, relief. Yes, yes, yes. Definitely relief. Well, I kept my Nile buys at 14 cents or so, right? Is that what our original buys were? Did we really buy it? We didn't buy it 14 cents. We weren't that crazy. I don't remember. I don't remember where we bought. Hey, maybe it was. No, I don't know. Whatever. It reinflated, didn't it, dude? So, all right. So sometimes the greatest winners come from the most surprising of places. Like your deflated bag becomes one of your it's like literally Dana going 20x on the money. I had a $4,000 bag that it like turned into 150 grand on Binance lifting. That shit was crazy. And now since then it's deflated, but still that was pretty crazy. And to top it all off, it's actually quite productive. It's like a 4,000, originally a $10,000 position is producing $1,000 a month, but it's more than this because I got like 350 last week. That's 12 grand a year. It's over 100% APR on basis. It's crazy. Isn't it late to lock the cycle through early discussions, Sonic purchases? Yeah, I don't plan to lock anything. Um, I mean, it always depends on conditions. I keep looking at Discord for the name of it. It's called Shadow Exchange. All right, we'll see. We'll see. Um, You always have to just be cognizant of conditions. It is certainly late to lock. It depends. If it's literally because it's launching, meaning if its starting price is 10 cents and it ends the cycle at 20 after blowing off to a buck 50 and $2 and $5. All right, so you lock the 10, it goes to 20 cents. Okay, that's a good lock. And you round trip the entire appreciation depreciation of your principal, but you get cash flow the entire time. Depends on what your intentions are, goals are, so on and so forth. Um, that it clarifies that best I can. Mixed. I like the hits. We've had the best hits over the years, haven't we? You get 95% worth of an extra VE NFT. Oh, this is like a 50% discount. So where we're at, where are we at? I see what you're saying. 50% discount. Our original buys were 65 to 70 cents per Nile. And you get a 50% discount on Arrow, so that makes you buy at about a buck. Eh, well, that means you buy 50 grand worth, you get in 100 grand worth of cash flow. Eh, For my own psychological well-being, I'd go over to volumes and I'd see how base is doing. 1.94 bill, flat week over week. How's Solana doing? Let's see. Negative some situations. Solana draining at 7.5% week over week volume. Arbitrum, similar situation. Yeah, I would fall back on not at a discount, even at a 50% discount arrow. And then I was like, then I'm like, portfolio composition, overexposure. What's the whole composition? Is it healthily balanced? Is everything sized well? And do you need it? You don't need to own everything you want to own. Wow, we're up at 203 billion. Go to mainnet. Give me a second. Let's see mainnet. Wow, is that 108? One, I am not buying shit on base. I am not buying shit on Arbitrum. I maybe a little bit of stuff on Sonic. Nothing, nothing, not mainnet. Oh my God, it's at $110 billion. You guys don't understand how insane that is. Delta and currency supply is everything in a financial market because the delta and currency supply of now was $30 billion delta on mainnet. You know what kind of appreciation that causes with regard to TVL and inflated asset prices based on purchasing, which is completely dependent on liquidity? Wow, that's a big deal. When this market starts moving, things are going to happen quick. $30 billion. This thing was 80 bill at the beginning of November. It's December 16th, a month and a half, a $30 billion inflow to Ethereum mainnet. Okay, that's crazy. OG buys for Nile were 65.70. All right, is what it is. Live and let live. Close, close, close. Anything else that's interesting for a Monday? That's an Aave at 382. What a lovely, lovely little. Remember that little clip I mentioned I got a couple months back, and it was so I could get discounted Go or fixed rate Go. That was nice. That thing turned into, I think, literally went 4x on the money. What? All right, so be it. I like that little clip. That's one of my favorite. That's my favoriteest little clips. My little Aave clip. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Monday, December 16th at 12:37 p.m. I appreciate each and every one of you joining me today. 154 people made it to the end of the stream and are a little bit more rational because of it. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Relax. It's the end of the year. Buying season is over. You should have your investments, your ownerships. You bought them at prices. Don't rush into anything. Follow, best practices, guiding principles such as don't chase. You either got a discount or not. We must live with our purchases and timing. Trying to force a desired outcome more often than not produces undesirable results. Own your choices and timing. Choose to own your decisions. Choose to own versus rent. Half the time I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. And it sounds good. It's a little poetic at times. But that's the point of such statements are to make you think and think differently than the way most people think. So I hope my words of wisdom resonate and give you new ideas or help you think a little bit different uh, as compared to the way most people think about shit. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. And I might not see you guys later this week. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to see you guys later this week. But I'll be on Discord. Let's keep the conversation going. I know you guys want to talk about trust and stuff, and I look forward to doing that more with you guys. Um, Definitely something that is a fun topic. Till then, be well.